Hello everyone. Today I am going to explain you about final keyword. The restrictor. Restrict means to not allow something to do, right? Final keyword doesn't allow to inherit or reassign the variable. Move forward. What is final keyword in Java, right? What is final keyword in Java? Final keyword is nothing. It is used to provide some kind of restriction to classes, methods and variables in Java. If we declare a class as final, inheritance is not allowed. Means we can't extend that class in Java. I am giving you one example. I am creating one project. Final keyword. Right? Package class. Inside main class I am writing main method. I am creating one class person. Int age, string name. Details method. I am creating one method plus name plus age. I am creating one parameterized constructor to initialize the properties of the class or these two variables, right? I am creating class. I am creating object for person. Person p equal to new person, right? I am taking age as 25, name as Kundan. No, I am going to extend the class first. Extends person, right? Here we have to create one constructor, main class constructor. We have to pass all the variables through constructor. If superclass have parameterized constructor, then inside subclass we must have to write the parameterized constructor and we have to pass the variable required for superclass constructor. Here I am passing age and name, right? I am creating object for main class. Here we are passing age 25 and name Kundan, right? We try to call the method p dot print details. We are going to get the details of the person class, right? If we try to modify the properties equal to 30 and again we try to print the properties, we will get the modified value, right? But if we declare our class as final, then we are unable to inherit that class. The type main class cannot subclass the final class person. Means if we make our class as final, then we can't inherit that class. We can't extend that class. We can't extend we can't inherit person class because is final, right? When we make our class as final means inheritance is not possible. Our first condition is satisfied, inheritance is not allowed. If we try to inherit, it is going to give compilation error just like this. Read the error. The type main class cannot subclass the final class person, right? If we declare a method as final, we can't override that method, right? I am removing final from class only and declaring this method as final, right? And I want to override that method only. And provide my own implementation. Look here what happens. Cannot override the final method from person, right? We cannot override the final method. If we try to override, it is going to give you compilation error. Read the error. We can't override the final method. If we remove the final keyword, then it is possible, no error is there, right? When if we declare a class as final, we can't override that method. Second case is also completed. Third case, if we declare a variable as final, we can't reassign that variable. If we declare a variable as final, I am declaring here one variable. Final string state equal to Bihar, right? For now I am removing this final keyword. Here we overridden this method. If we want to check is this method overridden or not, there is a notation called @override. We have to write above the method. If it is not giving any error, means our method is successfully overridden from superclass. Here superclass is person. Here I want to print a state also. Right? If we try to print the properties, what happens? State Bihar. Now we want to modify the state, right? We want to modify the state. We have to create the object for main class, reference also main class, and we want to change our state from Bihar to Telangana. P dot state equal to Telangana. It is compilation error. The final field main class dot state cannot be reassigned because we declared our state variable as final. It is giving compilation error. If we remove the final keyword, then all the error resolved and we can change our state successfully and we can print the value also, right? Our state is changed. Third case also completed. If we declare a variable as final, means we can't reassign that variable. One more time, note, in any case if we try to inherit the class, override the method, or reassign the variable, we will get compilation error, right? Move to next slide. Declaring class as final. If we declare a class as final, then inheritance is not allowed. If we try to inherit, it is compilation error, and it is going to give this error, cannot subclass the final class. If we declare a class as final, we should declare a class as final when we want to restrict others to modify the original behavior of the class. We are declaring a class as final. Why we are declaring a class as final? To restrict that our class logic can't be modified by others. That's why we are declaring our class as final. Others can't inherit our class. Others can't inherit our class and make modifications to it. Declaring a class as final means the class behavior is final, not variables and method behavior is final. Means if we are declaring our class as final, then only our class behavior is final, not variables and method behavior is final. Here if we create object for person, I am writing here reference person only, right? What is the error? We can't inherit, right? We have to use, we can't override without inheritance. We can make this variable as static also, then we can access directly. Here person, we are making our class as final. That doesn't means our variable and method behavior becomes final. Only the class behavior is final. Means we can create object for this class, we can modify the variable of this class like this. Here I am performing some modification, p dot modification. We are changing our age 25 to 30, right? Look here, any error? No error, because only the class is final. If we make our class is final, we can't extend this class only, right? We can create object for that class, ss modify variables and call method also. We can call the method also. We are calling this method now, print details, we are calling this method, right? Move to next slide. Declaring method as final. If we declare a method as final, then we can't override that method. If we are declaring method as final, we can't override that method. Here I am extending person, right? I am creating one super constructor. I'm directly assigning the value here. Age 25, name equal to none, right? We want to inherit our class or extend our class, we have to remove the final keyword. If we make our method as final, means we can't override that method. Superclass per superclass person method is only printing name and age of the person, right? I want to add a state also. What we can do, we can override the method of the superclass, right? I am overriding the method of the superclass in order to add the state also. Right, and if we print our, if we call the print details method, it is going to print all the details along with the state also. Why it is not printing state? Oh, superclass method is called here. At the rate, we are overriding the method and we are trying to print all the details of the person class along with, here I am creating object for main class, child class. If we try to call the method, it is going to print a state also. Here we are easily overriding the method of the superclass. If we want to restrict that no one can override the method of the superclass, we can use final keyword, right? Look here, cannot override the final method from person. Person is here superclass. If superclass method is declared final, we can't override that method. If we try to override that method, we will get compilation error, cannot override the final method. Whenever our parent class or superclass method has some critical logic or implementation, and we don't want anyone to override or replace the logic of the superclass method by subclass or derived class, then only we must use or declare our method as final. Means the conclusion is that if our superclass has some critical data, means here we want to only print the name and age, and the class whoever inheriting this person class must only print the name and age. We want to restrict, you should, whoever is going to use the person class service is only going to print name and age, can't add a state. That's why we are writing here final keyword, so other class can't override this method and provide their own implementation, right? Move to next slide. Whenever we declare a variable as final, we can't reassign that variable again, right? I am declaring this variable as final, right? And if we want to reassign this variable, from Bihar to Telangana. What is the error? The final field main class dot state cannot be assigned because this variable is final. We can't reassign the final variable. It is compile time error. In C or C++, we declare constant using const keyword, but in Java, const is a reserved keyword. We use final to declare a variable as constant. Right, we must initialize the final variable, otherwise it will be compile time error. The blank final field, and it is going to give error like that. The blank final field var name may not be initialized, means uninitialized final variable is called blank final variable. If we don't initialize our final variable, it is going to give error, and that blank final that uninitialized final variable is called blank final variable. We should declare final variable in uppercase according to Java naming convention. If we don't declare, it will run normally, but it is recommended by Java people. Here I am writing a state in lowercase, but it is not recommended. We should declare our final variable in uppercase only. Right, in next video I am going to explain you how to initialize blank final variable. Right, thank you and bye bye.